Some Republican North Carolina lawmakers are launching an investigation targeting prison releases that were made under former Governor Roy Cooper. Cooper, who is now running as a Democrat for U.S. Senate, released several thousand prisoners due to a COVID-era settlement.
Joining us now is our chief legal analyst, Collie Frode. So the Cooper campaign saying this timing is certainly interesting to be bringing this back up. But walk us back through what this settlement actually was and when it happened. It was during COVID.
It was definitely during COVID. And I think you took the words right out of my mouth that the Cooper campaign is saying that, look, this is the perfect time. And if you had issues with this, 2021, 2022 would have been great. Hey, it's 2026 and the guy that had something to do with it is also running for Senate. Let's go ahead and figure out if we can connect him to this right now. He's obviously right in the middle of it. The lawsuit was North Carolina NAACP versus Cooper, so you can't run away from it. Cooper, you are Roy Cooper, right? So we get it. This was a number of groups, ACLU and the NAACP, brought claim because a judge in Wake County at the time said that our prison systems were failing in North Carolina, that there were a number of folks that died, almost 100, that there were hundreds of people that were sick with COVID, and that the best way to manage this process was to ensure that you reduce the population of the prison so that individuals wouldn't be so close quartered and you wouldn't have individuals getting potentially sick and or dying. And so the judge made that ruling, and then that kind of started the ball for this conversation. Where we got was 3,500 people being released, and it was a number of things. The key word that I have to hit on is that these were non-violent individuals. So a number of things when you talk about the connection where it's quasi-political, quasi-legal, the political aspect is trying to connect the violence things that are happening with the train stabbing, with the things that happened in Charlotte with DeCarlos Brown, in with this release, because the timing of his release was around the same time that this happened. But if you look back and see, he served this whole time. He wasn't released as part of this scenario of the 3,500 individuals. So while I can understand and appreciate connecting release of prison to anything connected to violence, this scenario is not connected to his release.
Okay, so do you see this investigation really going anywhere? If a judge ruled years ago that this was okay to let thousands, 3,500 or whatever, released, and if there hasn't been any connections or issues since that time, is this investigation going to go anywhere? Could he even be serving any kind of, any kind of consequences?
Well, I think the consequences are already done. I mean, if we go back to the political aspect, and you said this yesterday, that the court of public opinion typically has the loudest opinion. And so if you have something like this that's out there that can connect a sense of public safety or a lack of public safety, then I think the damage is already done. But in terms of the nuts and bolts of what would happen in an investigation, you'll have to just go back. Judge in Wake County ruled that this is a problem. It's unconstitutional what we're doing, and we have to fix it. And if you don't fix it, what they recognize is that the judge was tipping their hand to releasing upwards of 18,000 individuals, not 3,500. And so it was actually good lawyering by Governor Cooper and their team to say, do we want 18,000 people to be released, or do we want 3,500? And let's go ahead and pivot and settle this now. You guys often ask me, well, why do you settle? You settle because, all right, either you can see the writing on the wall that you're going to lose, or you don't have anything to leverage to further negotiate. This was, I think, a negotiated strategy to make sure that the people weren't forced to be released. These type of things that are happening, I think they're typical for the season that we're in, but I don't see any legal standing to further an investigation. They have the legal capacity to do it, Hall and Berger, because in their capacity as oversight, but do I think this will merit anything other than what we already know? I don't think so.
So you see this going pretty much nowhere?
I mean, again, I think there will be a number of statements, but in this moment, you're going to have to make sure that those statements are connected to what actually happened in the court proceedings. I'd say I'd read Hall's statement. If Roy Cooper or any other official failed at the most basic responsibility, the people of this state deserve to know about it. The release of violent repeat offenders back onto our streets is a serious mischaracterization of justice, right? And a miscarriage of justice. I agree with that statement. But if the first key of the settlement was non-violent offenders, that whole statement's thrown out because you couldn't release anybody except for non-violent folks. That's where I have issue with those types of things, because I want the public to be safe, but I also want them to be informed accurately of what happened.
Yeah. All right, Khalif, thanks for your insight. Appreciate that.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.